Hello everybody, and welcome to a second Let's Play versus Impossible AIs. Just like the format of the last video, which I liked quite a bit. The first video is going to be all about the nation itself, EA Yomi. What mods I'll be using, the nation itself, and map and setup. If you don't care about the setup at all, or don't care about the nation or you understand it, just skip right ahead to the next video. Alright, first up we're going to do mods. Weapons of mass destruction increases the power of a lot of your unique construction 8 items. I've tested it with the debug. I really wish I could get some game time with it. There's obviously a problem when I never want to go to construction 8. So I feel that the mod must have something worthwhile. I still haven't got into enough in-depth, so we'll just go ahead and leave it turned on. Maybe I'll get to it one of these days. Underwater expanded increases the viability of underwater nations, increases the interaction between water and land nations. Very good mod. Not sure how the next patch will affect it. Might become obsolete. And then worthy heroes. Adds some new heroes to nations that are a little lacking, and increases the viability of some of the heroes that are not really heroic. As well, I've just left this in here rather than taking it out like all my other mods, is Yukari's Minimalist Yomi Balance mod. However, I will not be using that. I'd like people to be able to see the base nation. I will say right now, I think Yomi is a pretty crap nation, although they used to be my favorite. I would highly suggest finding a mod for them. There are 3 or 4 at least out there. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a peek at the nation itself. Now, you're a Japanese-themed nation. Your troops come in 3 flavors. Bakemono, little Japanese-themed goblins, humans, and then Oni, or your demon troops. I guess your Hanya's not really an Oni per se. But those are your 3 flavors of your troops. As far as your Bakemono, which are your 3 down there and your 1 up there on the left, a quick note about them: they are foreign recruit. You don't have to have a fort to actually recruit them. Anywhere where there's mountains, or border mountains, I believe border mountains too, you can recruit them. So I can recruit them out of all these provinces right along here, as long as I take control of them. So it's pretty nice having the foreign recruit for 2 reasons. One, this guy right here. You're not guaranteed to find a scout quite early in the EA early age. This gives you a guaranteed scout as long as you can find a mountain province without having to waste fort turns on him. Very, very good. A little expensive at 40 gold, but he still has the leadership 40 as well. So he's not what I would call a bad unit at all. Maybe a little overpriced for scouting, but he comes with the other perk of actually being able to ferry troops around. Stealthy, Mountain, Forest Survival, and Dark Vision 50% only takes half the bonuses. All of your Bakemono have that. As well as Undisciplined for the troops. You don't script them, you put them in the battle, and they're going to just decide what they want to do. Actually, that's kind of a thing of the whole nation. These 2 bandits right here are the only troops that you can script within the entire nation. For troops, your leaders obviously can all be scripted. Now, you have the Bakemon Show with a club, Bakemon Show with a Yari. Basically useless. The morale's even a little misleading because the Undisciplined is going to put them into skirmish formation automatically, so they're going to take another -1 morale right off the bat. The Bakemono Archer, on the other hand, is an archer for 8 gold and 4 resources, and can be picked up outside of forts, any mountain province, even while you're on the move through enemy territory. Very good unit. Depending on how early I go to war, I will build a whole lot of these, or not a ton of them. The Bakemono Chiefs, I will build a fair number of them as needed. Now, as far as your humans, you start off with the Bandit Leader, 45 gold, Stealthy again, 40 leadership, Pillager 3. Not that he's a bad unit, but you already have a foreign recruit scout. Anything that this guy can do, that guy can do just as well. He's 5 gold cheaper and doesn't take up a 4 turn. You do happen to start the game with 2 of these, which is kind of an annoyance due to needing special leadership, but we'll get to that in a second. Never build any of these. There's no real reason to. You have the Demon General. Leadership 120. Also is a Death 1 Mage, which means you're going to have both a fort and a lab to make them. They do have a kind of hefty price tag at 125 gold. This is your best leader by a long shot. 120 units plus 70 undead demon. For those of you that don't know, that's 120 normal plus 70 undead demon, not 120 and 70 of them can be undead demon. So this guy can lead up to 190 troops by himself. And the Death one, while not terribly useful, gives you the options of, animate skeleton, animate dead from the back lines, so that your commander's not completely useless, just hiding behind the troops the whole time. And this is not just your best leader, he's your best leader by a long shot. Your next best leader is probably going to be your Bakemono Chief, which is no better than an indie commander. We'll get into that in a minute as well. You really have no middle tier of leadership. You've got this one really good guy, and then you have these 2 guys right here that are indie level. You have the Sorcerer up next, 115 gold, 11 RP. Does happen to have old age, so they will get afflictions, they will want to die. You're going to see this path combo or a variation of. It's basically the main paths of the nation: fire, air, earth, death. These are incredibly useful, very good amount of RP overall. For reference, a lot of people like to talk about nations that have poor research, and you want to look for lizard shamans. Lizard shamans are 115 gold, 1 astral, 1 nature, no random, so they have 9 RP. So this guy actually comes up with a whole extra path for the same price. Of course, you pick up the old age as well. But that just kind of gives you a reference point of, in the scheme of things, how they are. Pretty good. I will recruit those, at the very least, in moderate numbers. Demon Priests, I don't know. I've kind of been contemplating maybe running a minor Earth Bless for reinvigoration. I don't think I'm going to. If I did that, I'd buy a few of these. As I'm not going to do that, I will buy none of these ever. There's no reason to buy these. These are one of your 3 sacreds. And that's pretty much all that I can say about that. It's a useless unit. Alright, for the rest of your humans, as far as troops, you have Bandit, Yari version, and then a Shortbow version. Now, your Shortbow version has a Wakaji here, which is not bad considering he's got a protection of 12 and comes with the head armor, the headgear already in there. Not a horrible guy in melee. Definitely, they have slightly lower hit points due to the Japanese theme and being smaller in general. But you're not going to see any real good stats across here. But they're not going to just fall over in melee. I'll probably put some forts on auto-recruit for as many of these as I can pick up a turn, and that will tell me how many of my Bakemono archers I make later in the game. Because this guy is 16 resources, this guy is 4, and he only costs a gold more. Superior unit minus, if you're going to be using darkness and stuff, then you're going to obviously want the little guys with the 50% dark vision. But pretty good unit. Also note, these are your only 2 you can script as well. 11 resources, 16 resources, and these are your best protection units actually overall in the whole nation. As far as resources, you got a 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 11, 10. So you're not resource heavy in this nation at all. Now we're going to move into the demons. First you have the Oni General. 180 gold. The stat line is pretty good. HP 30, protection 21, magic resistance 16, the morale's 18. Strength, attack, and defense are a little misleading, but I will get to that in just a moment. Encumbrance is a little high due to the protection which comes from the heavy samurai armor. Also note they're going to summon 1d6 wolves automatically for free at the start of every battle. This is your main mage that you'll use throughout the game. It's not that your other mages are useless, but this is the guy that you will bulk mainly due to the price tag of 180 and an upkeep of 72 a year, which is half of your Hanya, and it's actually like 20 gold cheaper than a Sork due to the Sacred. For paths, they're going to come with 2 death and another fire, air, earth. As I said, a combination of those paths. RP is only 7 though. They happen to have inept researcher. They like to go kill things. They do not like to read books and study. They are sacred, which is what I was talking about. I was almost contemplating some kind of a minor earth bless due to this pretty hefty encumbrance here. I don't think I'm going to do anything like that. You get poison resistant, fire resistant. No need to eat. That's a trait across the demons. They don't have to eat. However, they all have gluttony as well. What it means is the units will never actually starve, but they'll eat all the food and let all your human and Bakemono troops starve. Kind of dickbags like that. And then you got your demons. You're going to have to worry about banish spam by priests and certain spells that affect demons only. However, all demons have perfect dark vision, along with your Bakemono 50% dark vision. Darkness looks pretty good for you guys. The final things we have are Chaos Power, Chaos Recruitment. Let's go through Chaos Recruitment first. Absolutely love the mechanic. The unit's easier to recruit in a province with turmoil. What this basically means is for every turmoil scale that you pick, you're going to receive 10 gold back at the beginning of your next turn. So say I have a turmoil 3 build. The unit, I still pay 180 gold up front for him. However, at the beginning of the next turn, I get a 30 gold rebate. It shoots me back 30 gold. So these become very cost efficient in turmoil, and due to the fact that they're sacred, the upkeep is not absolutely killer on them. Next up, you got Chaos Power. It's kind of bad. They become more powerful in turmoil, but they become less powerful in provinces with order. So when I said these were a little misleading, the strength, attack, skill, defense, that's because of Chaos Power. In a Turmoil 3, they're going to get plus 3 to these stats, meaning 20 strength, 16 attack, 14 defense. That's a very, very good stat line, especially with the paths. You can get things up like Soul Vortex with a Skull Staff in hand. Almost thugging. But when you look at them in an Order 3 province, that's a 14 strength, 10 attack, 8 defense. Not very good at all. So those numbers can really shift. Now, Chaos Power is also activated by every 15 points of unrest. To go from neutral to Turmoil 3 is 45. To take an Order 3 to neutral, where you're not taking the negatives, is 45. To go from Order 3 to Turmoil 3 for the plus 3 bonus is actually 90 unrest. That's a whole grip of it. Overall, I'd say Chaos Power is a fairly strong mechanic. Spreading your skills in the vanilla game and spreading the unrest is very, very costly and very hard, which means that Chaos Power's power projection is incredibly low, which actually makes the whole mechanic itself fairly weak. If not, I don't even think fairly weak is a good word. It actually turns it into a negative trait of the nation. As I said, I'll talk to you about these bad leaderships. Leadership 10. Now, of course, these can lead a bunch of undead demons, but you're going to get the -1 morale. Plus, your demons get another -1 morale because they're undisciplined. They're just not very good leaders. There's not much more to say. Hanya, 195 gold. Encumbrance gets up there a little bit, I will say. However, it's a 2 fire, 2 death, 1 nature. This is the only thing you're going to get outside of those paths mentioned earlier. 15 RP, pretty good, but you can't spam these things forever. These are basically going to be the linchpin of my strategy, getting me from the early game as quickly as possible into a mid-game magic focus. The other really big notes is they are a size 3, but they happen to have heat 5. You don't have troops you can script, so you can't put troops that have fire protection to guard them. They become kind of weak, like when I play games versus myself. They tend to either set all my goblins on fire, or my opponent just target largest, and they're going to shoot at all my mages. They're not horribly useful, I will say. They're niche. They have their position in the nation. They are cold-blooded. You're going to get much more fatigue when fighting in cold provinces, and you're going to trade that forest survival for a swamp survival. Overall, niche unit will be buying a bunch in the beginning and tapering that off down to basically nothing as the game progresses. Next up, you have your Oni. Absolutely incredible unit. There's very little to say about it other than incredible. 50 hit points, 21 protection, MR 18, morale 18, encumbrance again a little high, but that's again heavy samurai armor here. Your strength, attack skill, and defense again can be a bit misleading, but these are the stat lines of a super combatant, especially when you start looking at the death paths, the earth, and the built-in fear, sacred, and able to bless himself. There's nothing bad about that at all. Maybe minus the 490 gold price tag. Very, very expensive. Now, they also summon 1 die 6 wolves at the start of battle. Their paths are 2 fire, 2 earth, 3 death, and that same combo we saw earlier. Important note, the air guys are able, with some boots, to cast Rain of Stones. Very good. You have native Rain of Stone casters, which you might want to put a helmet on these guys so they don't beat their brains out with it. But that is something I would definitely note. They are a priest, which means they're sacred. This is your 3rd sacred unit. 9 RP for all those paths. Just like your Oni generals, they want nothing to do with the books. They want to go out and kill and destroy. They do come with Fear 8. This is another thing that really pushes them into that super combatant category. They're just good out of the box all around. Your encumbrance would probably be your sole negative factor there. Fire resistant 9, poison resistant 5, so you have great stats for that. These are also great combat casters. The extra earth ones can cast your army of whichever, gold, lead, etc., etc. The death ones can cast a darkness. The fire ones are probably the least useful of the randoms, but it's not that they don't have a place. You can, even with a fire random, get up to your elemental kings of fire. Of course, he's a demon, no need to eat, but eats a lot anyways. Mountain survival, chaos power again, and your chaos recruitment's at 15. Very good mage. Very, very, very good mage. Probably the reason you'll play the nation overall. As far as your demon troops, you have the Ko-Oni. Now, these are size 1, which is fairly important, because size 1 are 6 per square. Since they are demons, that means banish, even with this MR13, for every square they hit, you're having to pass 6 checks. Kind of dangerous, but they do come up with that defense skill 12 for being those small little guys. Niche, if you're wanting to throw a whole bunch of attacks at something with an incredible amount of defense, these are good. If you're wanting something that will kind of just hold the line longer in their short little numbers, they might, if you can do something about this morale. Won't really be building those. Those are more a niche unit. Oni. Now, these where the prices really start jumping up a lot. 20 gold. But they have a cold attack, 20 fatigue damage. Again, all your little demons undisciplined can't script them. something I didn't mention about all your Oni, not your Hanya, but all your other demons, they're almost immortal. If they die in the battlefield, they actually lose this shape and they go to a second one with ethereal, so 75% of non-magic attacks automatically miss. Should they survive that battle in that form, their body regrows, they lose all afflictions, and they start over looking like one of these guys. So they can be a lot more survivable than what you think, especially when you start looking at the fact that these guys don't wear any armor and the nation has no shields. Um, Again, your stats are very misleading with that chaos power. If there wasn't such a proliferance of order due to it being the highest income scale overall, it would probably have less effect on it, but being that that is the case, they do come out quite a bit weaker. Now your Aka Onis I find to be far superior. 5 gold more, but the reason they're superior is this right here, Throw Flames. It's really nice being able to throw out that stun damage, which does do pretty good versus like some of your heavier indies that you want to lower their skills down. These, on the other hand, have an ammunition 3, range 20 attack. So even though you can't script them, you kind of can keep them on your side of the battlefield as they throw those flames, because they're going to try before they march into melee, which is well worth the 5 gold in my opinion. Well worth it. Oni, no Dachi, and a Javelin. For 40 gold, I don't care for what I get for. Of course, they got a little more protection, they got more morale, more magic resistance, and their stats are better. If I'm going to go with a high-end Oni, I'm just going to go up to the Kuro Oni, who's got the Throw Flames and Poison Spit, so that I can halfway kind of juke the scripting system with them. And I'll pay 10 gold more for these. They're just a superior unit. However, at the price tag of 40 and 50 gold, you're not going to be buying many, if ever. Now, as far as research, we've got Kappas. Little turtle guys, they got like a bowl of water in their head, and they gain, I think, 20 fatigue per turn when not fighting in the water. It might be 10. A ridiculous amount. Basically useless, minus the fact that their weapon is a Kopo. Successful attacks with a Kopo automatically cause the affliction limp. So if for some reason you're wanting to limp a super combatant, a thug, whatever, slow them down, these might have some very limited use there. Your Tengus. Your Tengus are your little flying demons, like the bird ones. They're pretty good and they're sacreds. Your Karsus Tengu, not bad. 3 nature gems for 3. The problem being, it's a nature error. You don't have that access with this nation, which is kind of sad, because if you could get a hold of some Karsus Tengu, I think that would be a pretty good use of your nature gems with this nation. Next up, you have the Konu Tengus. Now these are 5 for 5 plus, meaning for every extra air you have, which it only costs 1, you're going to get an extra unit out of it. Pretty good. If it wasn't for the ridiculously good summon that coming up that you eat your air gems up like mad, I would use those. But there happens to be that. Shecomb, 8 death gems for 8. I consider my death gems extremely valuable with this nation. I don't think that these are really worth casting. Maybe niche because of their ghost running claws. I just think your death gems are better spent elsewhere. Note, though, they are also sacred. Then you have your ghost generals. These are undead, so encumbrance doesn't matter. They have ethereal built in. They have a chill aura. So these are very, very, very good thugs. Ridiculously good, actually. Probably won't be building a lot of thugs overall, but this nation does lend itself to thugs and super combatants very well. Next up, we have the Contact Diatengu. Now, this is what I was talking about for eating up your air gems. This is 55 for 1 casting. However, you get a Diatengu Commander, 10 Tengu Warrior, and 25 Tengu. So you're going to get 36 flyers, one of them being a Diatengu. The Diatengu is actually a 3 air, 1 nature, 1 earth caster. The really only downside to this is it takes 2 air, 1 earth. You need a ridiculously lucky Oni to pick that up, Dia Oni to pick that up out of your capital. By ridiculously good, I mean the chances of it happening are ridiculously small and never count on it. You either have to empower a Sork or a Dia Oni to be able to get the first one out, or you have to build your Pretender to do it. So it's going to take a 30 gem investment to do it, or you're going to have to build your Pretender to make them. Contact Nushi. 25 water gems can only be cast in a swamp. Not a bad unit. I believe it's 3 water, 1 death, 1 nature. The problem with it is they're attuned to the swamp. They have homesickness. They will die in 5 turns of leaving the swamp. They don't like leaving their home. If I can, I actually like to try to get a Nushi out to do my water forging. Frostbrands, things like that, rather than having my Pretender do it. And then you have Gozumezu. 7 death gems, you get Oxhead and Horseface, very good. I believe their weapon is a Soul Catcher, which is a Paralyze effect. I believe Paralyze effect on hit. Pretty good. I really wish it was slightly cheaper because it is a 3 death to cast. But they're not bad units at all. Not bad. Next up we have Alteration, End of Weakness. Oop. You basically cast Wooden Warriors on all of your Oni on the battlefield. I basically use the Onis for two things, expansion and rapid defense. Not really a good spell or nothing you aim for. If you come down here and pick up Darkness or Soul Vortex, then this is definitely worth casting in that emergency situation, but there's no need to run to it. And then you have Thaumaturgy, End of Culture. They all frenzy on the battlefield, so they're going to go ahead and go berserk. Not only do I don't think your Oni are very worthwhile, on top of that, the Thaumaturgy tree, you can pick any tree but Blood and Thaumaturgy, and it's not a bad choice for the nation. If you really are into the site searching spells, you're going to be into this tree a little bit anyways. It's probably not in the late game too far to go down. The only real thing you would probably ever want to get out of Thaumaturgy would be Iron Will. And that's just for some more MR on your super combatants. My personal goals are going to be Enchantment 4, Conjuration 3. Alright, this is eating up a ridiculous amount of time. Let's try to create this just as fast as I can. We're going to go with Bidian. I'm going to go with 4 opponents. That's to make the game time overall semi-sane. It's still going to be ridiculously long. If you thought I was taking a long time to siege forts with Argartha, wait till you see a nation that has a bunch of limp... Well, that's not something that probably appropriate to say. A bunch of weak demons. It just doesn't work out very well. Alright, now I'm going to be going for a research build. You can go for the Turmoil. I would not go for any Order. You can go for Sloth. I would not go for any Production. You can go for Heat. I would not go for any Cold. You're definitely going to want to get some income somewhere, so Growth is a definite. Luck is pretty good. I'm going to be taking that as well. Magic skill. 1 magic skill is not going to affect MR at all. The actual formula is 0.5 rounded down per skill, so 1 magic skill is 0.5 rounded down to 0. Won't give you an MR change. I would not suggest taking all 3 of these into the negatives. You still need gold. You need lots and lots of gold. I want to be able to access my Diatangu. I want some water. I want to be able to cast the Nushi. And I'd really like to make Thistle Maces. That'll give me Nature 2 across the nation. So I'd need 83 more points to do this build. Or 3 negative skills. Well, I can go like that. I could honestly go something like that. Something like that. There's many choices that you can do. The main thing you're going to want to look out for right here is your income. Right now I'm only at positive 4%. If you happen to go with a turmoil build, you're going to be sitting at negative 6%, which I guess I can go for it. I haven't been messing with that. And then I've got 37 points left over. I'll go ahead and pick up another air and another astral. The astral gems are basically useless for me, but I'll take what I can get, and that puts me at a wake. I'm really kind of nervous about going with that turmoil. Every time I play him with any turmoil at all, the impossible AI just swarms me with too much. But we'll go ahead and give it a shot. Set my random events to common. We're going to do a 2/3 victory condition, 2 points per player. 2/3 is actually between 6 and 7. I'm just going to round it down. Alright, everything else looks good. Wow, this has run quite a bit longer than what I thought. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.